So saying that now, do we still have an opportunity?
Yes.
Do we still have an opportunity to do some of the very things that you just said?
If we can get it, one, discussed and passed, and that's the difficulty we're having. Our alternatives are not being given any consideration because we're not in the majority. And so right now they're suggesting that they're predicting tax increases in 2011 as opposed to what we're trying to do, and that's stimulate the economy through tax relief. Get the money back in the hands of the people who are in fact going to take it and expand businesses, and it's usually small business. Virtually 95% of the businesses in Montana are small businesses.
Right.
So we're not talking about the big bad guys that you read about on Wall Street. We're Main Street. And if we were to cut the rates for small business in Montana, you would see the economy come back quicker. So I'm going to continue trying to present those ideas. It's as simple as not raising the capital gains tax, leaving it 15% as opposed to allowing it to go back up to a higher rate when the tax rates expire. Once again, lowering the death tax, and so small businesses can keep their business. They won't have a tax bill when mom or dad or a grandpa or grandma pass along. That's free money to the government. They want it, but it hurts small business. And so we've got these ideas we're going to continue presenting to Congress and hope that we can gain enough support from Americans that they will see that that's a better way than to try and spend our way into economic prosperity.
Well, when it comes down to it, it comes down to the people. And so, what can they do, regardless of their political, views? What can they do if they agree with you? If they say, Congressman makes sense. That makes some sense. What can they do to help you get your agenda?
Well, first of all, they can give me anecdotes of their own individual businesses or as individuals where they're being hurt by taxation or regulatory processes, and share them. Share them with Max and John and Governor Schweitzer, and share them with their state legislators, because right now the state legislature is struggling with how they're going to spend the money. Let me give you an example of one of the problems in the bill, the weatherization. In Montana, we spend about $2.5 million weatherizing low-income homes. That's a good thing. Under this bill, they're going to get $75 million in Montana to weatherize homes in 1 year. You call the state of Montana and they'll tell you they don't have the inspectors. They can't do it. And so where's the money going to go? It's going to be incumbent upon our state legislators to make sure that the money goes either to its intended purpose or it isn't spent and is given back to the federal government. Because you get the $500 toilet seats and the $200 hammers when you're not paying attention to the spending that you've got, when money is just flooding in the door. And every penny is going to count. And so we're going to need the Montana public to pay particular attention to see that money that is supposed to be spent on this economic stimulus is not being wasted. And I never want to say that we don't have a problem, because we do. And we do have a recession, and there are a lot of people hurting, and there are a lot of programs that have merit. But that should have been a different bill. This bill has to be about economic stimulus and creation of jobs. And so I can, and any of your listeners who are interested in working with me on trying to create the coalition necessary to do the right thing, and that is lower the burden on small businesses so they have the ability to hire more people, pay more, expand themselves. That's how we're going to get ourselves out of this. And I can't do it alone. I need people's help.
And absolutely. So what's the best way? Write you?
Yes.
Write senators? Call you? What?
Yep. We're about as connected as you can possibly get. So if you get on the internet, you'll find I have web pages, I have email address, I have toll-free numbers. Heck, I even Twitter, if you know what that is. It's on. It's a communication.
Let's not get personal here.
I know it sounds a little odd, but if you were between 18 and 30, you'd know what Twittering is.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not either. I had to learn. But it's ways of social networking and communication, and Barack Obama used it very well. He has an email list of 3 million people. I don't. So you have to have the ability to communicate with people, and I find interesting tidbits, just an interesting tidbit alone. Sitting on an airplane, 11 o'clock Friday night, flying back to Montana, decided to say, or see what it cost, this bill. This bill was about $789.5 billion, 789.5. It was 1,074 pages. You divide it up, it's about $735 million per page was spent. Now we had 10 minutes, 10 hours to look at it. They gave it to us at 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. Some people got it at midnight. We started debating the bill at 9 o'clock the next morning. Now, if you were to divide the hours and minutes of how long we had that bill to consider it, to study it, to debate it in our own minds and to talk to people, we would have had to read each page of that bill in 24 seconds. We had 24 seconds per page to read that bill. So what happened to the transparency they all talked about? So I find some interesting information that I would like to share with the public from time to time. So if they'll get on my email list, I'll email information out to the Montana public of the kinds of things I see in legislation as we go. If I see an interesting guest editorial in USA Today or the Wall Street Journal, or something that happened in Kalispell or Plentywood, we share that on either our webpage or our email. And so if people are interested in being connected with me and finding out some of the inside information, I spend a lot of time trying to give inside information to people. So our government is transparent as possible, because that's how we're going to make this thing work. Is if people understand what's in legislation, they can then make the right decisions whether they support it. Then they can contact their representatives, myself, Max, and John at the federal level, their state legislators at the state level, and then that filters down to their county commissioners, city council, mayors, and such. So